Hey, it's Father Taylor here, and it's Friday the 28th. I hope that you're enjoying this great weather and our increased freedom. It's a great relief to hear that people are not getting sick like they would in the past, and hospitalizations are down, and there's a greater sense of health, which means a greater sense for us to come back and rejoin our community. So, a couple of announcements to that end. This weekend, we have both services going on, 8:30 in the morning that has a kids program. So many of your younger kids go to school, they're in class at 8:30. That's why we're having the kids come to the 8:30. We had a great group of kids last week. They were all together up on a little grassy hill here. They were able to have great storytellers tell us some of those famous Bible stories. Kids getting into that for the first time, singing some great songs, rejoin the family for communion. It was really nice. It was nice for all of us. And we are trying to make it more accessible for families with kids. That's a priority for us. It's families with kids. We know how hard it is. We're trying to make that open. So what a great thing. In the event this week that the weather is bad, that is to say that it's such that we can't meet outdoors, we will meet indoors. But remember, we're going to have to figure out how that works with numbers and spacing and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then we also have the 9:45 service, which last week had our largest number. We were almost at 30. I think we did have 30 people in the building, which is the largest number we've had since in the building, really for Sunday worship since last year, last March. So anyway, so we have those services. People are feeling a little easier about coming back. Quick word about masks. Some people have said, gosh, why are we still doing the masks indoors? And as people came out, I greeted you on the sidewalk and I had a mask on. And people said, gosh, why are you still doing masks? Here's why. Not everybody can be vaccinated. It's as simple as that. We do have people in our congregation who have immune disorders, which do not allow them to get a mask. And unless they feel safe, they can't come to church. It's as simple as that. For those of you who are safe and you have the mask on and you feel just this side of immortal, it is not a big deal for you to wear a mask. It is simply so that the people who are most vulnerable, including children, can feel safe, and so families can feel safe about coming. It's as simple as that. It's simple as that. You do this for the person that can't come, for the one person who can't come unless we're careful. That's why we do it, for that one person. It's not that big of a deal to put a mask on. We've been doing it for over a year. So that's why we do it. So we have those two services. In the event that there's bad weather, we'll figure something out. I got to work this plan out between now and Sunday morning, our backup plan, but still come. We want you to come Sunday. It is such a big deal. If you haven't been yet, it has been such a big deal to have everybody come back. Very powerful stuff. So we have the Sunday services coming up. If you listened to me give announcements last week, both during church and at all the services, I skipped a week. It's almost like I forgot Memorial Day weekend, because next week we're the sponsors of a program for the Simsbury Food Pantry. Well, we are trying to give them enough surplus that they can get through the summer without worrying about falling short. So we call it Fill the Truck. But if you've looked at these announcements, I'm asking you to find a friend and invite a friend to help your neighbors in Simsbury. It's not a really big deal. Just pick up some cans, have them write a check, tell them to come to the churches. 6 ways that you can do this. But when you invite a friend, you give them the opportunity to serve. And that's a big deal. A lot of people want to help. They're just not sure where. You let them know. We're going to do this right in our church parking lot. Come on by, or I'll pick the stuff up for you. So that's the Fill the Truck for June, and that is on the 5th and 6th, right in our parking lot. On the 6th, at both services, we'll have the bishop. So Bishop Ian Douglas will be presiding at both the outdoor service and the indoor service. And then afterwards, he'll meet with the vestry. So long day with the bishop here. It's always interesting to see where the bishop is pointing and what the bishop is thinking. particularly now that he's announced his retirement in less than 2 years now. Be curious to see what he has to say for the folks here at Trinity. So the bishop is coming that weekend. Uh, Personally, I think it's even bigger that we're just getting back together. So please come, and we've got our church service. You're really finding that the sense of community is just really a great thing. All right, let me see what else I have on the list. Our VBS program. Back when we still had restrictions and vaccines were starting, our VBS people were hard at work trying to make decisions about what's going to happen for VBS. Well, we're having it, just like we always do. It's a little modified, but we're still having it. Now, you may say, oh, I don't have any kids. Why? What does that do with me? Two things. One, we need you to pray, because VBS is a very powerful ministry, often for people who don't go to church, or at least don't go to our church. So please start praying for VBS and just in every aspect of it. The big aspect will be helping people engage in coming back. The VBS folks had to postpone the announcement of VBS until they figured out some of the logistics about doing VBS with the COVID issues. And so some parents have already signed up their kids for camps, soccer camps, saxophone camp, dance camp, or whatever camps. There's a million camps now. So VBS competes with that. But there are lots of kids who are not. So talk to your kids about their kids. Get some grandkids to come. Get some neighbor kids to come. We'd like to have a bunch of people. You can just sign up, make a call at the office, sign up. It's really easy to. So VBS is coming up. Last little bit of announcement is last night we had Paula put together. She said, hey, we're going to have a hymn sing in the parking lot. Now, I know that you think, oh, Father Taylor, he's like a churchy guy, but you got to remember, one, I didn't grow up in church, so I was never singing hymns, but I was singing music in bands. Let's just say they weren't hymns. So my mother, after they started, she and my dad started going to a church, they had the church pray for me, which is probably why I'm here. But so when I finally arrived at the church, they already knew that I played guitar. So in terms of my history of hymns, my first Sunday back in church, I got invited to be a guitar player in the contemporary music band. There was only a contemporary music band. So since I've been in church, I've been a contemporary music, I've been a worship leader, I've been in bands, I've played here, I've played at the barn over the Presbyterian church here in town. So I've played contemporary music the whole time. I do know a lot of hymns, because I did get ordained and I hang out in an Episcopal church. But I thought, hymn sing? I don't know. What's a hymn sing? So I went last night. I tell you, it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It's like all that church that you've missed, that maybe you took for granted, in the worship and seeing people and familiar faces that you took for granted. We don't take that for granted anymore. It was really a wonderful time. And so if you hear of another event like that, who knows? Maybe the contemporary worship group will put together something. I'm not putting any pressure on them, but I'm just saying, maybe they do. You got to come out to these events. The weather was fantastic. We're surrounded by birds. It's, light until 8:30. People saw each other. People had masks off, but they were, adequately distanced. It was a very healing moment. You think I'm just making this up, I think, or I'm supposed to pitch this to you. I'm telling you, there was something that happened for me deep in my soul just by attending there and singing these familiar hymns together and just having fun with it. It was really healing. So toss that out there. And you can always, any of our events, you can invite friends to. Last night, some people did bring friends. Everybody had a great time. So be looking forward to what other things can we do outdoors coming up. So anyway, I think that's plenty of announcements for now. God bless you. Keep an eye on the weather, make some adjustments, and we will be worshiping together this Sunday, the Lord willing. Okay, so bye for now.